Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we're going road course racing at Watkins Glen for the second time this season for a road course in the Cup Series and the first time in the Xfinity Series. And in the Xfinity race we have a surprise driver. We have two-time Formula One World Champion Fernando Alonso, who wanted to take his shot at a NASCAR race, and he's going to be in our Xfinity car for this episode here as we head into Watkins Glen to see how he did. He qualified in the 6th position, starting on the right-hand side of the track as he went down towards turns 1, making it very aggressive up the inside of Kevin Harvick and Matt Tifft with a 3-wide move, a very ambitious move early on in this race as Alonso would come through to get up to that 3rd position very early on. And it looked like our driver, Fernando, would have a serious shot at maybe pulling off a victory here in Watkins Glen as he came down the straightaway, setting the sights on Justin Allgaier. He would actually pass Allgaier and get to the back of Elliott Sadler for the lead at about the midway point of this race, all over his back bumper through the bus stop as he went down to the carousel. Very aggressive move to the right-hand side as the Spaniard would come through to try and take the lead from Elliott Sadler. Now as Alonso would take command late in this race, and he would not look back as he came to the final lap of this race in Watkins Glen. Alonso would put a bit of a gap between himself and Sadler as he came down straight away here heading into the final few corners, and certainly we made a brilliant choice putting Fernando Alonso in this car because he would come through the final left-hander, setting his sights on the final corner of this course here in Watkins Glen. Fernando Alonso, many wins across many different types of racing for him, and now he can add NASCAR to that list as Fernando Alonso would come through to get us the victory in Watkins Glen. A brilliant effort from Fernando, and certainly something that I was very excited to get him in this car, and hopefully this is a sign of more things to come with this team, obviously closing in on the playoffs now, so hopefully we can get a few more playoff points before it is time for the playoffs. We'll see what we can do then, as we still need to decide on a driver for the playoffs, and now it's time to set aside. So on myself in the Cup Series race, a track that we won at last season. We finished 2nd here in our rookie season. Last season we won here. We kind of got lucky with a late race caution, allowing myself to have a chance to take the lead from Kyle Busch, and hopefully we can do the same today. But it was going to be a bit of a challenge because in qualifying in the first session the car was a little bit loose, and as we came out of the left-hander you see right here, we would make a brutal mistake and crash into the barrier, and this will start us last in the race. So we're going to have to see what we can do and hopefully go forwards.
Today, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series visits New York and Watkins Glen International for the running of the Go Bowling at the Glen. The Glen is NASCAR's 2nd road course stop of the season. In 2015, this 2.5-mile 7-turn track underwent a full repave that made the racing surface much smoother and added a ton of grip. However, drivers still need to be careful out there, especially when entering the famed bus stop chicane, an area of the track notorious for taking out even the best drivers. Okay, the pins are set. It's time to go bowling at the Glen.
Alright, we are ready to go green here in Watkins Glen. Eric Jones and Chase Elliott will be starting on your front rows. Parker Kligerman will start in the back after an engine change after qualifying as we get ready to start the furthest back here in Watkins Glen. Now, certainly got our work cut out for us. We're going to need some luck if we want to have a chance to win today, as the green flag is out. We are underway for the 2nd road course race of the season here in Watkins Glen. Now, as we come down to cross the line, immediately an opportunity to get to the right-hand side of the track and send it up the inside as we take Haley Deegan 3 wide into turns 1 behind the 66 of Joey Gase. A big checkup as I got on the curb there in turns 1, but we come out of there unscathed now as we set our sights on the S's, trying to make up as much ground as we can as we pass Haley Deegan, as she would hang on my left rear for a second, but we would get clear of her as we came up to the top of the S's, going down the long straightaway, approaching the bus stop as we head to the left side of the 47 of Priest, now making it 3 wide to the right-hand side of Gase and Truex as we went down towards the bus stop behind the 51 of Cody Ware, as the 72 of Truex, or 71 car, would stick it up my left side for a brief moment, but he would be unsuccessful in that attempt as we came through the carousel for the first time, moving into that top 35 here as we also look to the inside still of Cody Ware, trying to move into 34th as we came down the straightaway, setting our sights up on the 21 car of Paul Menard, who's not had a very good start to this race, as we head into the left-hander, making a big mistake on my part there as we completely drove up onto the grass. Certainly certainly not used to making these types of mistakes here as we get really loose going into the final corner. So certainly making some mistakes on this opening lap, and that's not what we need to be doing now, as these first two stages are really short. The road course races are always shorter in this schedule, so we certainly don't have as much time to work our way forwards as we would look to the inside of Paul Menard, and we would continue to work our way forwards here in this race as we were sitting P33 right there, but we got up to P27, making it 3 wide up the middle between DiBenedetto and Joey Logano on lap 3 as we would just continue to work our way through the field, now passing Landon Castle as well as we went into the bus stop, as he's going to hang on my left side, so I obviously have to give him the room, and I screwed the bus stop up doing that and gave Castle the position, but we would be able to get back to his right hand side and get past him and move into that 24th position, and we would continue to move forward because by the time we came to the final lap we sat P23 looking to the outside of Keselowski now on the final lap here in this first stage on the back of Bubba Wallace as we came down the straightaway approaching the bus stop for the final time in this first stage. We would look to his right hand side and into the bus stop we would get ahead of Bubba Wallace with no problems at all and come out of the bus stop perfectly clean as we head down into the carousel, looking like we're going to get a P21 finish likely here in this first stage. And as we exit the carousel, we do build up a little bit of a run on the back of Corey LaJoie. As we come down the straightaway, we know the stage is about to end as soon as the 10th car crosses the line, so we're going to try and make a move to the inside of LaJoie into the corner, and we edge him out on the exit of the corner and clear him as we get up to P20, going into the last corner, and there it is right there. The stage would end going into the final corner, and we would get P20, so we would gain, 20 positions in this first stage. Now, as nobody would pit, and Eric Jones actually picks up a playoff point and gets himself a stage win there, so he tries to win this race and lock himself in maybe, as we would stay out, like I said, to start the second stage behind the 48 of Jimmy Johnson and the 24 of William Byron, the two Hendrick drivers, as we get ready to start the second stage. The green flag is back out, and we are underway here in Watkins Glen for the second time in this second stage now, as we have just 4 laps once again to try and work our way forwards as we head down towards turns 1, getting punted from behind from the 43 of Bubba Wallace now, as he went very aggressive into the corner and just slammed into the back of me, and certainly shaking things up. We made a brilliant save right there, but I knew that when he hit me in the bumper, it made it go yellow on the indicator as we door slammed 24, and you're seeing exactly what I'm talking about. We have a very loose car after getting hit from behind, and we just slid right into the side of the 24 because when your bumper goes yellow on the status indicator, it can make your car pretty loose. When it goes red, it makes it uncontrollably loose, but thankfully we're just in the yellow on that bumper, so we can at least keep control of the car for the most part at this point as we came out of the carousel on the left hand side of Jimmy Johnson, making a pass on him as well. But certainly the rest of this stage already, because of Bubba Wallace, is just all about managing the car and not losing control as we are getting so much more loose after getting hit from Bubba Wallace. So a lot of oversteer in the car at this point, but hopefully we can hang on as we would come out of the final turn, sitting in the P16 now as we would come through to complete this first lap in the second stage, as we would have a huge run once again, looking at the inside of Ryan Newman and maybe to the inside of Ryan Blaney, but we would let Blaney have the line as we went down through turns 1, but we would battle alongside the 6 of Ryan Newman, and we would be able to get ahead of him as we came through the S's. And we would run down Blaney by the time we came to the second lap in the stage. Through the carousel, we would pass the 12 of Blaney and move into the 14th position behind the 38 car of David Reagan as we came down the straightaway with a chance to look to his left-hand side as well. And we would make the pass on Reagan to move into P13. So we continued to move our way forwards. As you see, a lot of oversteer on the exit of that corner. Exactly what I was talking about with that damage on the bumper now, as we would also run down the 40 of McMurray and the 88 of Bowman on this third lap. We're just coming to the white flag in stage 2. We would pass McMurray and move into the 12th position, but then we couldn't really close in on Bowman by the time we came to the final lap through the bus stop in the stage, completely screwing up the bus stop as we kind of cut it there, but we got really sideways and lost the time, making up for kind of cutting it as we came through the carousel for the final time in this second stage down the straightaway. Ryan Blaney now has moved into the 13th position behind me as we come down the straightaway for the final time in this second stage. Bowman up there in 11th as we try to run him down, going into the left-hander. Denny Hamlin in 10th, holding on to that final stage position as we come into the final corner. Once again, more oversteer there on the exit as we come through the final corner on the course. On stage 2, we're going to come through to get the 12th position in the stage as we would look to the right-hand side of Bowman for a moment, but obviously not enough speed to make something happen. And obviously, we would have to pit at the end of the second stage. We would come to pit road, take 2 cans of fuel, or not even 2 cans, I don't think, but we would change it there. It said 4 tires at first, but I decided to take no tires and just do that instead, and we would keep it at 2 cans of fuel, and we would come out actually in 14th to fix the damage to the back bumper. We're likely not going to win this race if we don't get a caution in this final stage, so we're just thinking about maybe trying to fight for a top 5 as we're ready to go green. The final stage is underway here in Watkins Glen, already getting ahead of McMurray as we have a chance to take Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman 3 wide into turns 1, but I let off the throttle trying to think about long term here. We don't need to do something stupid into turns 1 with 10 laps to go still, as we would clear the 88 of Bowman, getting into the back of Ryan Blaney now as we come up through the S's, as Bowman looks on my back bumper, but he is unable to make a move as we almost got into the back of Ryan Blaney, but we were able to keep off of his back bumper there as we come down the back straightaway now, trying to use his draft to the best of my abilities as we head down towards the bus stop with a big run. Looking at the right hand side of him now as we go into the bus stop. And we would clear him through the bus stop, moving into P11 as we close in on the back of Truex and Hamlin, who battle side by side. Truex not very happy with us, obviously, this season, as he's very close to being a rival as we look to his right-hand side, doing my best to clear him without getting into him now as we come down the straightaway, clearing the 19 of Truex and moving ourselves for the first time in this race inside the top 10 now as we come down into the left-hander behind the 11 car of Denny Hamlin as we head into the final corners, just trying to make sure I hit my marks at this point as Blaney would follow through to pass Truex as well as we came down the front straightaway. Certainly a chance maybe here to pass Hamlin. He looks like he might go a little defensive, but he moves back over to the left, allowing me to look over to the right-hand side. The AI can brake much later into turns 1, but we made the move anyways as we go 3 wide now with Blaney and Hamlin, as I kind of made a mistake there, braking too late into turns 1 and pushing the 11 wide, and Blaney would take full advantage and make the move as well, as by the time we came to lap 18 though, we would drive away with 7 to go and run down 7th place of Chris Buescher at this point. And I felt like we had one of the fastest cars in the field, but we needed a caution to show that, and it didn't look like we were going to get one at this point as we would come up through on the top of the S's and pass Chris Buescher to take over that 7th position now as we set our sights on Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick. And we would defend over Buescher into the bus stop to make sure he couldn't make a move up my right-hand side, and we would close in on the back of the 1 of Kurt Busch and the 4 of Kevin Harvick now as we came through the carousel, trying to get up into that top 5 before this race is over as we came down the straightaway, just setting our sights on these guys, and we would stick with them. And we came to a few laps later now, as you see a cinematic view, we would come up through the S's, looking to the left-hand side of Kurt Busch, and we would be able to get past him now as we came through the S's, closing in on the back of Harvick, trying to move to his right-hand side to take over the 5th position as we head down towards the bus stop, giving him a little bit of a side drive as we go even into the bus stop, now edging him out and taking over the 5th position, but we go wide and we go way too hard into the bus stop, and that allows Harvick to squeeze through and take the position back from myself as we came through the carousel. So we had 5th for a moment, but we gave it back away here with just 4 laps to go in this race as we would try to once again run down Kevin Harvick, as we would get a little defensive over the 1 of Kurt Busch, because at this point we were faster than him, so I don't want to let him have the spot. And by the time we came to lap 22, a lap later, once again up through the S's, we would build up a huge run and look to the right-hand side of Harvick and blow right on past him. And at this point, I was just hoping that we would get a caution, but it wasn't looking like it was going to happen, as Kurt Busch would actually follow through to pass Kevin Harvick, as well as they would go through and battle side by side through the bus stop. And by the time we were approaching the white flag in this race, Kurt Busch was closing in on me as we get very loose there, coming into the final corner now, as the white flag is already at this point in the air, looking like we're not going to get a caution in this race, as Kurt Busch coming to the white flag is all over my back bumper as we head down towards turns 1. And as we start this final lap, we try to hold on to a top 5, but as we go into turns 1, Kurt Busch sends it up the inside, and he can clearly brake a lot later than I can in turns 1, and I knew that, so I knew we might give up that position, but we're going to try and battle back here on this final lap as we come through the S's, closing in on the back of the 1 of Kurt Busch now, as we come up to the top of the S's, heading down the back straightaway, trying to get a run, but we just couldn't get alongside the 1 of Kurt Busch as we head down the long stretch into the bus stop for the final time here in Watkins Glen. Eric Jones at this point was in the lead as he would try to hold on for the victory, as Kurt Busch puts a gap between himself and I. And as we come through the carousel for the final time here in Watkins Glen, Kurt Busch gets a better exit as well as he continues to drive away, as all of a sudden on this final lap he has found a lot of speed, and it looks like it's a lost cause now, as we might gonna have to hang on for the 6th position as we come through for the final few corners here in this final sector of this course. Now into the final turn, Kurt Busch gets through it clean, and so do we, as Eric Jones would come through to win in Watkins Glen. Kurt Busch would hold me off for 5th, and we would come through to finish in the 6th position, which is actually our worst finish at this track in my career. Nothing to be disappointed about. We crashed in qualifying, started in the back, and we rallied our way back up to 6th. We just needed a caution or something to bring ourselves into it, and usually we get that at Watkins Glen, but not in this episode when we truly needed it. But certainly, hopefully I gave you guys a little more action. The past 2 Watkins Glen races have just been me running up front the whole time. We actually had to work our way through the field this time in Watkins Glen, so that was fun there, as Kyle Busch is 30 points ahead of me in the regular season standings right now, so we're going to try and run him down and maybe win the regular season championship to get some more playoff points. But next episode, I believe we go to Michigan. Obviously, we won there earlier in the season, so hopefully we can pull that off again and get win number 4. It's going to be a tough one for sure to win that race. It always is. We got really lucky to win there earlier in the season, but hopefully we can do it. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Those would all be very appreciated. In the Xfinity Series next episode, we go to Mid-Ohio, so we will have a road course racer in the car there as well. Might be another F1 driver, I don't know. AJ Allmendinger will be in the car in one of these road courses. I can confirm that. But there you see the standings now and the playoff standings. We have a bit of an interesting battle brewing here, as Bowman is 4 out, Almirola is 9 out, and Dylan is only 14 out, as McMurray is the last car in. So it's going to get very interesting for that last spot in the playoffs. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.